our partners that our partners at the drain office basically has no authority, and they claim they can't do anything about them. They're not under their jurisdiction. So if it kind of falls under the townships, if you will, and it's a gray area, you know. In quick history, those drains were really established by those early settlers or residents of the lake. We're talking early 20s when the Johnson brothers came in, developed Lake Lansing and drained, you know, whatever Lake Lansing was, which was supposedly a swamp, and made it somewhat of a, you know, a lake. However, over the years, those systems, those drains that they established, were never incorporated as part of the county system or public system. So it was left, they were left to their devices or to the residents to maintain them. And you know how that typically ends, right? They get neglected, people forget about them. Only the old timers that still live around knew about them. So that was one of the first things we wanted to address as part of that management plan, is establish and figure out exactly where those things are, and more importantly, treat them. So as part of that process, we're talking about a specific one here right off of Marshall. Okay, so we knew that culvert was going straight into the lake, and I believe it's mainly road runoff.
I think so.
Yeah,
Although
it's clean.
Oh God, I wouldn't think so.
But what we also wanted to do a demonstration project. And what we did, we contacted the Parks Department and requested that we do what we call an infiltration system. And where that area gets wet, too wet, you know what I'm talking about. If you go there after a good soaking, you'll see it. You can't.
Oh, yeah.
It has always been like that. And you know why, right? It's just it has a lot of clay. But what we discovered when we started our project, it used to be a dump.
Oh,
that was one of the dump areas.
Oh, great.
If you dig down in that area, you'll find all kind of trash. And
Perfect.
Oh yeah. I'm not gonna speculate what else is there, but no, it's not surprising. That's what people used to do. You know, they used to back up to the lakes and drains and dump, you know, Grand River. I'm sorry, Red Cedar. If you go on at the end of dawn, same thing. It's a big area there. It's all essentially, you know, the village dump, if you will. That's what people used to do. And the same thing with the lake. That area, and I'm sure there's others around Lake Lansing, but we know that area was a dump. And because we started our project and we started running into all this trash, you name it, shoes, old shoes, or canned. Nonetheless, we went ahead with our project, which basically is a network of connections with infiltration, pipes with perforated pipe with socks around them to drain that area and filter the water, because the water was going straight. For some reason, we wanted to do two things. One, clean up, help drain that area better. Second, that infiltration system would more or less improve the water quality of the discharged material. And sure enough, you know, you're not going to get any groundwater or any, I guess, let's just say runoff that's clean from a dump area. So the filtration would help a little bit. So we tied it to that catch basin. And the only thing that we did was tied to and I don't remember if we did something else to the part that's upstream that drains the road. I don't believe we've done much, because that falls actually under either the road department, and I don't know. You can help me here if you still remember. That was is it part of that catch basin belongs to the drain office, or is it to the road department? It's always a gray area for me, and I can't figure. You know, sometimes they point a finger at each other. So, do you know, Cecilia? I can't hear you. You muted. Muted.
You have to unmute. Can't hear.
Where? No, I'm sorry. My maps are a little vague up at the north end there. In fact, I thought maybe this was part of the Bass Lake, Pike Lake drain outlets, but apparent Marshall's farther north than that, I think, now.
Well, we knew that I believe, as I recall, the road department got involved because when we had to tap into it, because we needed to tap in our outlet pipe, right? The underground, infiltration system that had an outlet. It was, again, it's a network of pipes and with some ports, clean out ports or test ports or check ports, whatever you want to call them. But then everything had this like a manifold design, and then everything, that main pipe went and tied in to that catch basin. And we made sure it's higher than the outlet, but we knew that there's water coming from the road, and we had to check whose structure that thing belonged to. And I seem to remember it was the road department. It wasn't the drain office, but I don't remember the specifics. It's been a while ago. Nonetheless, point I'm making, I don't believe we treated the water coming from the road. The water that goes into that catch basin essentially was that area that was essentially the dump area where the water still stands. So yes, the water sits there. It takes a while for it to, infiltrate, and then eventually it makes it to that catch basin and it goes to the lake. So that's the extent of what we did. And it seems to be working for standpoint of water quality of the Park area, not the road.
Right. I live right there. I see it all the time. So the water that catches on the grass on the corner of Marshall Park, it does seem to be working well. It turns into a big lake, and then halfway through that by the next day, it's pretty well stopped. Right. But it's when those flash floods, because the drains are right there at the intersection of essentially all of the road that goes by. It's the low point. So there's a hill leading in from either way. And then there's the third street that ties into it that goes away from the lake. So when there's a lot of rain, all the crap from the road is just rushing right down that drain and into the lake. So
I know, honestly, I need to go back and see. It seems to me that we would have done something to that drain, but maybe we couldn't have do what we wanted to do because it wasn't our structure. We needed to go maybe downstream from it, but I need to look into it. But that's part of what the advisory committee does, is actually find those orphan drains. And I think for the most part, we addressed all of them. I have to go back and look at this one.
Is it posted on your website, on the Lake Advisory website or something? Where is it?
What's posted?
I mean, you said you have a advisory plan or some kind of plan.
Yeah, if you go on the township website, go under, I think you look under boards, and you'll find the Lake Lansing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I can find that. But so this plan that you're talking about that includes the drain would be posted on that website.
I don't believe we have the demonstration projects posted. I could look it up and maybe email it to Leroy. He could share it at some point. But again, I don't think that what we've done, as to the best of my recollection, addresses the road runoff in that area. There are we did some other demonstration projects that did that. Mainly that rain garden right at the end of right at the end of Lake Lansing and Shaw, where they meet.
Yeah.
If you go there, you'll see that nice bioswale before it captures that runoff from that newly installed ditch. But also, the drain office did, but also there used to be a pipe tile that ran into that catch basin, and it was daylighting directly to the lake. So we addressed that. We installed that bioswale, and it seems to be working. So yeah, that's one example. We also did a structural design. We did one of those, what do you call them? Let me see if I get the right one. Aqua Swirl, that's a brand name. It's one of those structures. You get the runoff, and it swirls the water. It separates the solids. Oh. And then our guys, twice a year, they go out there with the Vector, take out the solids, suspended solids. And I don't know if we has filter. I don't think it has filters for the VOCs, oil and gasoline. We also did a couple at the end of Perry. There's a couple of catch basins that were a catch basin, and listen to this. It's actually Clayton County Drain Office. It has a pipe that runs directly into Lake Lansing. It was a shocker to me when I discovered it. They actually did that job without anyone knowing about it, not even the drain office.
Oh,
And we discovered it, and it was like, how the heck Clinton County could come in into Meridian Township and Ingham County, put, daylight straight to Lake Lansing. And apparently they just did it. And that was in the 90s. And it services that subdivision to the, right at the border. I can't think of the name of it. Meadowbrook? I can't.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, it's fairly large too.
But from the standpoint, so we investigated that, and it turned out actually that water that comes out of there is actually clean water because it gets filtered through a wetland. So we eliminated the potential for it water quality wise, but the issue still, you got the volume, they did the work. Nobody, they didn't come to us. They didn't, and when we talked to the drain office, we have no idea how they did it. Anyways, so we try. The reason I bring that up because we tried to get them on the hook to pay towards the, towards the cleanup of Lake Lansing or to the special assessment district. As you know, the special assessment district, I believe, an annual budget of $90,000. So the residents pay the lion's share of it. However, Ingham County, through the Parks Department, pays $10,000. The township pays $10,000. And I believe MSU pays about $700 because not all these are governmental entities. So you cannot assess them, right? So we went to MSU, they agreed to contribute. And then the township matched the county's 10,000. And I think those are the three entities. So we tried to get Clayton County to do the same. And they basically said, no, it's, we can't, we could have pushed the issue really, but we felt the area that they, the service area that it's contributing to that drain wasn't big. And I think they made a claim, hey, we already have Mud Lake. Not Mud Lake, whatever that lake that they have, Park Lake, that's right. They have something that they county already.
Younes, thank you so much for joining us. You're obviously a wealth of knowledge.
I talk too much too, so I don't want to cut you off, but it's kind of painful to do so. But we've got about nine more. That's okay. I've got a lot of things to do too, so
we have about 9 more minutes. We go till 10. Just want to make sure that people who haven't had
from me still. Do you have any the information you need from me?
We want you to come back next week.
Yeah.
All right. we could do that. Sounds good.
Yeah.
You guys have fun.
No, you don't have to leave yet. We have eight more minutes if you have it.
What else do you want to know?
Does anybody else have any burning questions for Younes while he's here?
Younes, I believe you heard from one of my neighbors about some sanitary sewer water that bubbled up into the street down on Birchwood and Tacoma during the last rains.
Yes.
And the sweeper truck came through and swept it up a bit. I was wondering if you've had a chance to figure out why stormwater is pushing toilet paper up into the street at that point.
Toilet paper?
Yeah.
Well, I could tell you there's a sewer backup. And I think, is that when we had the big rain?
Yes.
Yeah, well, I don't know the specifics, but my gut feeling is we have a lot of what we call infiltration. So we have a lot of let's just say leaky sewer, sanitary sewer I'm talking here. And because of the rain, we could not keep up with it. And something got clogged or things got backed up. And that's what happened. That'd be my best guess. That's a maintenance issue. I wasn't directly involved. I kind of heard a few things about it, but that's one of the things that we are addressing. It's a big issue for us.
Can you put a bracket on how big, or do you think we're talking about a dozen of these problems or hundreds or thousands?
In Meridian Township, I say definitely more than a dozen. But like I said, the severity depends on the rain event You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
And we've been doing, I would say, not a perfect job, but a decent job addressing these. And the way you address those, you do, an asset management for the sewer. As you may know, the state has a SAW grant. We've done that a few years ago, and we have a, let's say, a blueprint to address these issues. And we're attacking those, the big areas first. We already lined the main problem areas, and we're now towards the medium ones. Our focus will be this year, and it just happens to be around Lake Lansing. As you know, Lake Lansing has this lift station right at the boat launch. The boat launch, the county. We have a lift station there, and that lift station, the service area of it, it's pretty much mostly the north and the east, and it's a little bit southeast portion of the lake. So it's a good chunk of it. So we get, when it rains, that lift station runs all the time. So, and we need to be, we watch that, because if that lift station goes bad, the pumps go bad, or we lose power, we don't even have, I think we don't even have a generator there. So we bring portable generators and we lose power, because we don't want backups to basements, and we get a lot of those calls. So what I suspect there, what happened, we have a backup similar to that, but the sewer was too low, and the surcharge made it all the way and pushed maybe the clean out or even the manholes, and it's spelled out to the road. That's why you see it. You typically don't see that, but it was a heavy rain event. So it was flash flood. It was quick. So yes, there are issues that we have in our system, and we have our capital improvement program. We spend close to $1 million addressing them each year. It'll be a few years before all these issues are addressed, but this year's project will be around Lake Lansing, and next year will be the lift station itself will be totally rehabbed. Again, this is related to the lake. I know it's different than the storm issues, but last thing you want to see is sewage in the lake. That's what they used to do back then. Luckily, we don't have any septic tanks around the lake that I know of. They're still active. I think there are old septic tanks that probably would not properly abandoned. So every once in a while, but don't quote me on this. There's, urban legend. Yeah, there's some areas that still get, but nobody can prove it. So anyways, so this is one of those things that we are working on this year and next year around the lake.
Super, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Younes.
All right. Anything else?
I think we're good. I do hope you'll put this on your calendar for next week, and Younes, if you have time. And
I will try my best. I'm going to check my calendar. You guys meet at 9:30?
Yeah, same link, 9 o'clock. And join for as long as you have time for, even if it's just 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah, it looks open. So.
Thank you. And we are interested in things that we can do to educate residents about either reducing flooding or taking care of flooding issues in their basements, in their neighborhoods. So as we think about our educational outreach, we'd like to get some feedback from you too on what are the things people can do to make a difference.
Just for what it's worth, and being this audience to say it, that the neighbor and I that are on this it's a 30-foot easement. Both of us are in agreement with some kind of rain garden or something. So I don't know.
You
plant the
probably
seed.
runs along that.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that'd be awesome. Yes, I'll bring it to the advisory committee's attention. Yes, we could revisit that.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
So yeah, I appreciate that.
Okay, I do too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Leroy, I have a thought. Valerie mentioned a review or report that earlier in the conversation that the advisory committee had, Lake Lansing Advisory Committee had produced or something. That sort of thing, you could take a section of the township website and put some of these environmentally interesting reports under environmentally interesting reports section, and throw your wetland brochure in there. Throw, everything, a big whole section, so that people, if they're looking for environmental stuff, are pointed there. They don't have to figure out that there's a Lake Lansing Advisory Committee, or that, some other group has got something, but that there's a very prominently featured on the front page, sort of a spot for people to dial in on these things.
Yeah, there is a redo of our website planned. I can't even get, right now, I can't even get my recycling brochure on the webpage, but I like that idea. It'd be nice to start that list of what are some of the reports that are available, what might go on that list. Maybe Younes has some ideas. It's a great idea, Cecilia. Now the timing might be good to begin to envision that as we revamp our website.
I agree
Especially if
with
they're
you
redoing it.
wholeheartedly. A part, one of the goals of the management plan for the lake is the educational aspect of things. What do you call it? Outreach and public participation. And yes, we do hold meetings, public meetings. Typically it's in June in the pavilion area. I don't know, Valerie, if you've been to those before. You've been to them? You muted.
Yeah, I've been to a few, and we have a neighbor on it. I kind of track it.
Yeah. So we put the word out, and we shared a lot of information there. The consultant comes on. I go through the what we do, the activities for that given year, and the plan, improvements. But yeah, if you could throw that on your, I guess, do you have a newsletter? Is that what you're saying, Cecilia, that Leroy could put a link or an article?
I don't have a news.
No,
You
I mean,
know, my
Leroy's,
Forest
I know
Hill
Leroy's
homeowners
got one.
No,
He's got the,
but the drain office has brochures and all sorts of information. They have, their maps and stuff. You might have to have a website or a link to get to the amount of maps that the drain office has, that show where the drains are and stuff. But yeah, there's brochures that you could put up on there, and other educational options that would fit into environmental stuff here in Meridian
Yeah.
County.
And it would dovetail with the goals of the advisory committee as well for the lake management.
Sure.
So those
Cecilia? Oh, go ahead.
Those maps that you're talking about, are those things that are available online, or do you have to go to the Drain Commission to find them?
Yes and yes. They are on. There's a whole bunch of maps that are online. You could dial into the Drain Commissioner's office, and there's a website that shows that you can look up where your subdivision is and your maps and that sort of thing, for the whole county. But you can certainly dial in on what your area is.
That's
And
a GIS map, right? GIS plan?
Yeah, it's a GIS, it's part of GIS. And I have, not being able to do this and look at the maps while I'm talking here, because I am a techno. I have maps from 1990, paper maps that the drain office has, that we used before they invented the GIS and all of that stuff. So that's what I just refer back to those all the time for older drains. But yes, it's that stuff is available. And like I said, it could be it'd be a great to share a link or point you in the direction of the drain office. So it's Ingham County Drain Commissioner on the county website.
Okay, thank you.
If you could, Cecilia, just send me a list of those maps or fact sheets that you think might be most helpful. And that would be helpful. Just doesn't have to be right this minute, but
No. Okay, I'll keep that, bear that in mind, because he does have like a water quality. Don't wash your car in your driveway, drive on your land or something so that soaks in. That sort of type of helpful hints. That would be good.
okay. We get a lot of stuff from the mywatersheds.org, and we try and promote that every chance we get. Working with communications department on promoting some of that stuff. Anyway, great conversation. Thanks for joining us, everybody. And we'll
Thanks
see
so
you
much.
next week, if not sooner.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.